Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil,
Hey, Van Zeeks!
Kazuma, and Gregson.
So, finally somebody has said his name, and I've been pronouncing it wrong the entire time. That's fine. I'm not gonna change it. I'm gonna keep calling him Van Zeeks because I'm too far in. I'm too far gone to try and change it now. But that's funny. That's hilarious, actually. The defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand. It's getting good. Order, order! Bailiff! Bring the aforementioned witness back into the courtroom. Immediately! There he is. Oh, I gotta look at that fat lip again. It matches her perfectly. Well, I never. An undeniable ring of bruising indeed. And identical to that of the witness beside him. Now, what's going on here, eh? What? Guys, I have 3 different accents going on right now. Jesus. So what is it? I've always had this, mate. It's a birthmark, innit? A birthmark, you say? I assume the reason you've been called to this stand has been explained to you. Alright, something about an inspector again? But I'm telling ya, you've got it all wrong as usual. Do I? You're denying all knowledge of it? Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh? What a terrifying face he's got. Well, at least you'll have more stories to peddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again. And you, Mr. DeRusso and Mr. DeRossi, I'm sure you'll cooperate, won't you? Otherwise, I'll haul your asses back in jail. Do we have any choice? We are in bigger trouble, eh, Capo? Yes, you are. Both of you. That's quite enough dilatory chatter. Proceed with the testimony. Okay. I'm doing decent so far. The inspector and the identification revisited. The man who claimed to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man. He's right, see? You think we would have forget those grand lips, huh? Don't do that. I never leave Fresno Street, alright. I have no interest in any red-headed league. I'm all alone in the world, me. I have no kinfolk and nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I could carry off a disguise with a face like this? It would certainly appear that we have the wrong man. What have I been telling you, eh? There is no need for this pointless testimony. Shut up and let me do my job. That's right, I'm just a simple peddler, remember? Fresno Street's all I know. How would I have come by a police inspector's identification book, eh? Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but... A brief cross-examination, I think, counsel? Very brief. Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something? I stand steadfastly at your side as always, Mr. Naruhodo. I don't. Yeah, see where this goes. If I had to take a guess, I mean, I don't think I have anything I can present right now, but maybe he didn't have a fat lip at the time. We know there was a tussle in the room, right? So maybe during that little tussle, maybe he got a fat lip because he was, like, hit. I don't know. We'll see. I feel I'm going to have to press some things. Okay, it was definitely not this guy. You think we would forget those grand lips? Never leave Fresno Street. I have no interest in any red-headed league. Let me just see something. He kind of has the same, like, lanky build as Mr. Vigil. Look at his hair. It kind of looks like a match to me. It's the same. It's got the curls at the end. It's parted the same way. Ooh, what if he's in disguise right now? Like, what if that's on Mr. Vigil? I don't know. Could be. Maybe just like he has like a fake nose on. I don't know. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. See, he's even talking about to look like I carry off a disguise with a face like this. Maybe what you're wearing now is the disguise. Oh! Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he came... So like I said, maybe he's in disguise now. That would make sense. Maybe he came like this. If I'm right, maybe he came like this. And that's, you know, and like so maybe I'm right about them having abducted Mr. Vigil. So maybe I was technically right about that. And they said now he's in disguise. Okay, well let's press this point. Maybe you could say with a mustache or a beard to cover up that lip. Don't think it would be enough. Alright, perhaps. But if I was going to stick some fake facial hair on to cover up this fine specimen, if you want to call it that, I'd end up looking like his lordship over there, wouldn't I? One could only dream of looking this handsome. Pardon? I assure you my lips are entirely unremarkable. And I would ask you not to cast such scrutinizing looks in my direction, counsel. Hey, I didn't say anything. Sorry, my lord. My imagination got the better of me. Well, Inspector Gregson did wear a mustache, of course. You're right, he did. So perhaps he was hiding something himself. He could barely have hidden a crumb on the mustache of that size. And anyways, the detective we spoke with had no facial hair at all. See, the capo is alright. He was clean shaven. It certainly seemed beyond the realms of possibility that this witness could have disguised himself as the victim. Oi, it does and it is. Well, I really hope I'm right. That's the extent of their testimony, is it? What's your feeling, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, what Mr. Gossip says is undeniable. It will be all but impossible to hide those lips with any form of disguise. Perhaps yes, but nevertheless the mark around his neck is equally undeniable. And it's identical to the one that Mr. DeRossi suffered. Yes, that's true. Why does this whole disguise idea just keep playing on my mind? See? I really think I'm onto something. Okay. But now the question is... because I'm sure it's not enough to just present the picture to him there. I feel like we have to build to that. I kind of want to just go in order here. Slam. So you say, but how can you be quite so certain? There is no need to hurt your hands on the desk, monsieur. Hey, that's his signature, slamming the desk and pointing. That's all he's got. Surely the reason is obvious, non? Because I have never before seen lips like this. Nevertheless, there's a clear red mark around Mr. Gossip's neck. And it looks very much like that left behind on the neck of your colleague by your prize caller. Mon Dieu, with your words, it's like you tried to wring my neck. It does look very much like on my neck, though, eh? Right, buddy? No, this is a birthmark, lad. The biggest lips in London and the neck to die for. Oh, they broke the mold when they made me. It was the first time in my life. I feel lucky to have been born with red hair. And I thought being Japanese made you stand out in London. So you maintain that you've never seen this man before? Oui, c'est ça. I swear to it by the flames of my hair. So fierce pride has outgrown the frustration with your hair now, has it? He's proud to be a redhead.
Hold it!
Hold it. Well, yes, I don't imagine I'll forget those lips in a hurry either. That is what I am saying. For some reason, it makes me want to eat. How did Fabian call it? An eclair? You know, I've never seen the hair as black as yours before either. It is pretty black. It's as black as my outfit. Likewise, I've never seen red hair like yours until I came to Britain. See, maybe it is a national trait, eh? Yeah, I guess that's true. I can't say I've seen many Japanese people with natural red hair. I never thought about it. Maybe all the people from this man's country have as grand lips. Don't think so. No, lad, I was born right here on Fresno Street. No, I've never left. Uffa, that is the problem, see? See, senor? So you definitely didn't go to the park on Lime Street that day, Mr. Gossip? Now, how many times do you want me to say it, eh? He said he never left. And he said he has no interest in the Red-Headed League. So, you'd heard of the Red-Headed League, had you? You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going off in town. I sold the tasty titbit to a fair few redheads that came past me. Just between us, I even got Sanders to cough up for it. Well, he does have a very red nose if that counts. Like Santa. Who knows? But as you can see, my own hair's not got a hint of red in it. And in any case, Fresno Street's my patch. You won't catch me sidling off to some other part of town.
Is that so?
Oh, no sir, not likely. Oh, what do you have to say, Mr. Rousseau?
Excuse me.
Mr. de Rousseau. Oui? Can I help you? Did Mr. Gossip's word just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps? No. Well, maybe. It was the other day when I was looking for a place near the park. A small house or something. To be the headquarters of your Red-Headed League, yes. I visited an housing agent on Lime Street, and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent. What? You lying piece of crap. Mr. Gossip, with a housing agent? Oui. He had some kind of contract in his hand, and they were clearly discussing terms. But, no, you're mistaken, chum. Mr. Chumley, I've never left Fresno Street, mate. Like I said before. You've mistaken me for someone else. Someone with the same face. Unlikely. No, the capo is right. I remember it too. We were together, see? He was paying the man with the banknotes. With notes? Like I said, that wasn't me. Sure it wasn't. I was curious why this man with the dirty clothes had so much money. So I looked at the name on the papers. And what name was written, Mr. Gossip? Hugh Boone? No, just a man, he lies. He tells you that he has no name. Maybe it's Hugh Boone. But in fact, his name is Hugh Boone, huh? It's better than Mr. Gossip, I think, see? Aha. No! Got him. Oh my gosh, that angle. His lip just looks like a big blob. I'm a peddler of titbits for information, like I said. On Fresno Street, and that's that. I don't much like folk talking about my personal life. Indeed. And it is not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of witnesses. Well, very well, let's respect your wishes, sir. The aforementioned name shall be redacted from all court records of this trial. Assuming no objections. I have an objection. I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case. Good gracious. Do you similarly object, Prosecutor Asagi? You better. As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings. Well, I never! In what capacity? I'm an old man, you gotta spell it out for me. Hugh Boone. The name of the leaseholder of the room. Let me put this very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room. That's true. He acted like he just stumbled upon it. I suggest, sir, that you start talking. Well, alright. I suppose that might be the case, eh? Dun dun dun. So your real name is Hugh Boone? text box changed, didn't it? So yeah. Well, just between us, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but there's no finger peddler of titbits in town. So I've been able to afford a grubby little room in a falling down backstreet townhouse. You do? And once every 6 months, I go and pay the rent to the agent in Lime Street. I remember now. There were 2 vulgar redheads in there last time. These 2? Hey, if either of his is a vulgar, it's not a me, eh? Think again, Peppino. Why didn't you bring this up before? It's like I told you already. Wait, oh my gosh. I really get the accents mixed up. It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a titbit peddler. As far as everyone else is concerned, no fuss. Eh? You will update your testimony to include this most surprising revelation, Mr. Boone. If I must. Yeah, oh my gosh. I've done that a couple times this trial. I predicted what they're gonna say. So the leaseholder, Scotland Yard, has been looking for since the body was discovered. Has been here under our noses all along. Oh, I meant the room where the fellow was found, it's true. What difference it makes? I mean, I think that makes a great deal of difference. Do we have anything that, like, says Hugh Boone on it? Yeah, let's press him on this.
Hold it!
So, you live in that room presumably, do you? No, I don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? Just a desk. Then... Oh my gosh, it's all coming together. If that is his room, he had a picture of his wife in there, it's gotta be Mr. Vigil. Then why would you want to rent it? Well, I don't think I should have to say, really. Yeah, you do. Then how about the notice board in there? Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have access to. Ah, no, that board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along. Yeah, that makes total sense. It's only the other bits and bobs that belong to me. The desk and the chair and that. People don't generally carry enormous notice boards around with them. The real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed there in your room? I don't know. Well, obviously, I've not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest. It seems to me that Mr. Boone would rather as little is known about his room as possible for some reason. Yes, it does come across that way. And more importantly, knowing that the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things. In particular, there's one part of his testimony that's really bothering me now. That's how I'm finally going to undo this man. Oh, I'm all alone in this world. I have no kinfolk and nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? It's gotta be... Okay. So I think it might not be this that we have to present to. Right? Should I go for it? Should I maybe... I don't know if I pressed this. Did I? Let me try pressing it and then I'll try presenting. You mean you have no family? No, none at all. So I spend my days on Fresno Street peddling titbits to passers-by. Hoping, just between us this is, that eventually someone else with lips like mine will come along. I don't think so. You're one of a kind. You may be right. A man can dream. Anyway, that mark in your neck is just too much of a coincidence for us to ignore. Well, what's a fella to do then, eh? If you don't believe me, we're at an impasse. And there's nothing I can do but flick my lip. Please don't. It looks like I'm not going to get anywhere here, unless I can produce some proof. You're basically saying I got dressed up and posed as some fancy inspector, aren't you? Well, if you want me, how you think I could do that? Okay. I'm gonna go for it. Now that we have the information that it is his room, he does have kinfolk. He has a wife. Let's see if I'm right.
Objection!
There we go. I'm happy with how I'm doing this trial. If you have no kinfolk, as you put it, then explain why it is that among the sparse furnishings, we found this photograph in the room. Ah! I presume, as you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not? Oh, well... It's gotta. Mr. Boone, drop the pretense, and tell the court exactly who you really are. I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler. I keep telling you so. You really don't need to bother with me. Please, just leave it alone. Okay, he's hiding something. As the man says. Leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life, it has no bearing on this case. Because it's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson. Are we sure about that? How can you be so sure? A lot of slamming going on. Just look at the man. No amount of disguise could ever hide those unmissable features.
Objection!
But what if we were to look at this the other way around? Exactly, he's in disguise now. What do you mean? Yes, counsel, what do you mean? Well, there's no denying that Mr. Boone's lip is very prominent indeed. But consider the possibility that his prominent lip is itself part of an elaborate disguise. Then hiding that prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face, would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Boone? I think I'm onto him. I got you where I want ya. Good. Witness, are you still hiding the truth from this court? Maybe. If that's a disguise, then underneath it, his true identity must be... Yes, that's right. There's really only one person you could really be. My lord, the defense believes it can reveal Mr. Boone's true identity to the court. No, please, no! Why do you want to hide it so badly? Very well then, counsel. What is the true identity of this peddler who goes simply by the name of Gossip on the street? So, funnily enough, I was technically right before, if I'm right about this, when they were asking who the two redheads kidnapped. I technically was right, maybe, but obviously I jumped the gun there. I obviously get why they wanted me to choose him because of the neck marks, but now I believe I'm on the right track. It's gotta be.
Take that!
Your real name is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it? Mr. Daily Vigil. Yeah! I don't recall that name, counsel. Who is this Mr. Vigil? It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. What a quinky-dink, right? It has to do with a certain client of Mr. Herlock Sholmes. A young gentlewoman came to the detective asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact, this is Mrs. Vigil. What? That's right. From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead. But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the two red-headed League men. And last night, you were put up the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial, because we've been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Oh, Miss Venus, that was her name. Being important witnesses in this case, we needed to know where we could find you, of course. And that explains why you've not only been unable to return home, but also unable to contact your wife. Yep. Who's been beside herself with worry waiting for you at the Vigil residence. Now, just hold on a minute. You don't have to... What I'm talking about, really... It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise. You two, hold him down. No, please. Bailiff, bring soap, a sponge, and a wash towel at once. Mr. DeRosso and Mr. DeRossi, you will restrain... I was kidding, Judge, but if you want. You will restrain the witness. Do it. Oui, my lord. See, my lord. Get him. Hold him down. Wah! No! Stop! Get off! Personal space! Ah! Don't! Let's see him. Oh. That looks like a Mr. Vigil to me. He looks so ordinary. See, he looks very average indeed. Fascinating. We don't have to look at those lips anymore. Thank gosh. Thank good golly gosh. Well, we are now seeing your true features, I presume. No, that is a disguise as well. Rip off the mask. He's like, wait, no, this is my actual face. Ah! They hold him down again. They just like claw at his face, rip his face off. Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face. Aren't I beautiful? It would appear that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. This has all been a very elaborate deception. So, witnesses, tell the court, have you seen this man before? I don't believe it, but... See, that is a no question. This is the inspector we saw in the park. He's like, oh crap. I don't know if I should change his voice a little bit, or... I'm probably just gonna stick with it. Unless it really doesn't fit. On the day of the Red-Headed League enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson, who appeared before Mr. DeRousseau and Mr. DeRossi in the park, was you disguised as the inspector. Or rather, was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all. You just went as your normal, average-looking self. Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as the chief warder at Barclay Prison. The chief warder? Then your career had promise. Why, you would quite possibly become the future governor of the prison. Except he was let go a while ago. What on earth have you been doing peddling tittle-tattle on Fresno Street? Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison. 10 years? Oh, I'm really dreadfully sorry about all of this. Yes, it's true. I'm Daily Vigil. You were the chief warder at Barclay Prison 10 years ago. That's our guy. So where did Mr. Hugh Boone come from? Made it up? Boone is the other me. It's a name I invented. I got a split personality. Well, evidently, there's a great deal under the surface here. I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become. I don't know if it's just that he's so depressed now. I don't feel like my voice fits. As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment at Barclay's chief warder came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. But times were hard in London, and I find no suitable engagement at all. In desperation one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street. But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are the chief warder at Barclay Prison. I don't know how you kept up that deception for so long. I was utterly determined that my wife should not know my failings, which is why I've never told her. I opened an account at the bank under the name of Hugh Boone, and I went to the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street. The scene of the very crime we're investigating. Yes, that's right. Oh my gosh, creepy picture. A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler. And transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine. I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room. But that explains it. But why on earth didn't you just tell us in the first place? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons. Oh, you have 2 children too. And without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them. So instead you decided to conceal your occupation from them? Much better. Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits, as you call it, of information you could sell to passing gentlemen even at 6 pence apiece. You couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder at the prison. Very true. It makes sense. To have kept your family in comfort despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment. That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson. Oh. What? Inspector Gregson, what on earth? It was some years ago that I invented Boone and begun my other life as a street seller. He, the inspector, that is, recognized me one day. Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours? Is he giving you money? I knew him from my time working at the prison. Shady. When he saw what I had become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. And from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Or did he just buy stuff from you? Then one day... What are you doing with your arms? He asked me if I could carry out a secret assignment for him. A secret? What was it? Oh, so was that his notice board? He was lying about that, maybe? I was to impersonate the inspector. Oh. So on his orders. What? Impersonate him? We always met in the little room so the inspector could brief me. Is this Gregson? Visit Roxy's tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietress. It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. Oh, so he willingly gave it over. My instruction would make an impression, to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. Interesting. And for those services, he compensated me financially. So that's how you've been making your money. Scotland Yard inspector willingly relinquishing his identification into your care with intent to deceive. Oh, damn it. Battery's running out. That, as I'm sure I need not point out, is a very serious criminal offense. But Gregson is dead, so nothing you can do about it. But why? What was the point of you impersonating him? I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions. Hey, good to see you. Even if you are shady as hell right now. No, remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever. Even if, well, if I end up a croaker. Ah, so you're supposed to keep it a secret even to the grave. In time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second office for him. Okay, so he did work here. Wow, this is getting intense. So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really... you? Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my Boone disguise, and then went as instructed to the park, armed with the inspector's identification book. It never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck would give me away. Well, you should have covered it up with a scarf or something. Ooh. Ah, this has been a great case so far. Silence in the courtroom. I wonder if there'll be a greater significance to like not having the jury for this case specifically. Like, it was ordered by the Queen, they said herself, right? Like, why? What's the significance of this trial? Well, it would seem that this confession completely destroys the defense's case. What? Explain yourself, Prosecutor Asagi? My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location only before his corpse was discovered. At the hands of those two red-headed league men when they imprisoned the inspector. Right, but we know it's not we know it's him. He tried to do the Ryunosuke slam, but hurt his wee little hands. But no, that can't be. Poor guy. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day. It was me. Oh, goodness. Finally, we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And merci, Monsieur de la Défense, for providing it. Proving it. Ah, shut up. What? Oh, damn it all. Order! 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 Due to the pair that we've reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses had no involvement in the murder of the victim. As proven somewhat ironically by the defense. Good job. Ugh. This happens a lot. I hereby call an end to the cross-examination. Well then, what? Oh, was that Asagi? Kazuma? Is our buddy gonna help us out? Yay, his theme is kicking in. Pardon me, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness. Kazuma? What are you on about? What are you planning? What question, counsel? It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at a very significant execution that was carried out at the time. 10 years ago? He's curious because of he wants to know more about this case. The professor case, I guess. The execution of the professor. Genshin Asagi. That's how you slam a desk. I want to know exactly what your involvement was. Oh. Answer me, man. Now's not really the time. One moment, counsel. Is this related to the current case? No. Naturally. Is it? Okay. I mean, it makes sense it would be. It is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked. Does the defense concur, counsel? Kazuma. I got your back, buddy. You're not yourself. You're not as calm and collected as usual. Poor Kazuma-sama. No wonder he's acting this way. Mr. Vigil's memories of what happened 10 years ago would tell the tale of Genshin Asagi's last moments. His own father. Yeah, I can see why he'd be worked up. I know, I do understand that. But even so, is now the time? Prosecutor Asagi? Do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death? Or are you lying to me? I need you to trust me. Please. Okay. You got it. Very well. Then the defense has no objection. I see. In that case, you will answer the question, witness. The truth is, I remember very little of that time. You've forgotten. Don't make me jump over this desk and slap you. I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. But for some peculiar reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy. That's not what he wanted to hear. Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry? Well, 10 years is a long time. But I've forgotten the reason why he left such an important job. Yes, you're right. And not only that, Mr. Vigil's claim contradicts what we already know. Does it have to do with... We have his dismissal notice here. Because we know that it has to do with the professor case specifically, right? Right, didn't he like help the prison... Didn't he help like the professor escape? Yeah, aiding and abetting the escape from this prison of convict. Yeah, it has to do with the professor. I'm sure we're gonna have to present that. The human spirit is a fragile thing. It's broken all too easily. Which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protection. Well said, Kazuma. Sorry, the human spirit? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean. When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface. And when they do, that fragile spirit may finally be crushed. But I really don't. Kazuma-sama. But if it must be crushed, then so be it. Because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out one way or another. Tell him, Kazuma. Right. Now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps if I pointed out the contradiction in what Mr. Vigil claimed earlier, it might cause some crucial memories to return to him. But should I? Should I present the evidence or not? No, we're doing it. I have no idea how this is going to go. But this is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. We got this. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts your version of events. I'm assuming it's this?
Take that!
Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Oh yeah, right, he did say that. I guess that's the important contradiction. Well, yes. In other words, you claim to have left the post of Chief Warder of your own volition. Well, yes, of course. Why? What's so weird about that? Tell me. Do you remember seeing this document before? No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment. Or dismissal notice. And the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vigil. Aha! What? What? Ow! My hands! It's mine! Have you never seen it before? So you didn't resign from the prison service at all. For some reason, you were dismissed as chief warder from Barclay. No, there's been some mistake. I'm sure. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. I wonder, isn't it? Okay, something weird's going on. Does he have some kind of amnesia or something? If you were forcibly dismissed, there must have been good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. I honestly can't tell if he just can't remember or if maybe there's some funny business going on. I forget his name, but maybe the guy who gave us the dismissal notice, maybe he forged it. He did hand it over pretty willingly. According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on the 17th of June 10 years ago. And on that day, something very serious took place at Barclay Prison. The 17th of June was that the day the professor was executed? The professor's execution? Professor? You doesn't seem like he's remembering something. As you were the chief warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings. It does sound familiar. And yet, that execution never took place. Yes, we know that. The convict ostensibly executed earlier that day later re-emerged from his grave. That he did. The convict came back to life. In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness, Mr. Drebber. However, the witness claimed that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, a gunshot rang out, right? A gunshot rang out from over his shoulder, and the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Imagine if that was Mr. Vigil, that would be wild. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes. Yes! He's trying to remember. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head, somewhere deep down. I feel we're gonna get cut off at some point because we are very off topic. Well, Chief Warder Daily Vigil, I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on the 17th of June 10 years ago. And now it's time for you to drag them up. Ah! Ah! My head! Mr. Vigil? Ah! Ah! Make it stop! Yes, the whole prison. It was complete chaos. Was it prison break? The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news ripped through Barclay like a hurricane. What? What? So there's a giant prison break? But at Corner it says you were involved in helping him. Order! 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 Do you mean to say, Mr. Vigil, that your memories of the time have returned? Kinda. My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screams. Must have been a traumatizing experience. Oh my goodness. The papers. There were reports, articles about a man who'd seen a ghost. Yes, Enoch Drebber. The robot man. But surely those reports were exaggerated. There were traces at the scene. Traces of what? In Nogate Cemetery, at plot number 139. Blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Interesting. Obviously, something terrible had happened there. The depths of conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering. I've reviewed the police records from that time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigating team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved. Are you suggesting that a prison warder abetted the man's bid for freedom? I think it's our guy here. Yes. Yes, and I was suspected of doing it. Oh, was it not you? Of using that mass murderer's execution as a way to help him escape. You did what? I remember now. The horror of it all is coming back to me. One evening, a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower. I am getting so dizzy. Oh my gosh, I'm just spinning and spinning and spinning. Ah, this is the guy I was talking about before. I'm sorry, Daly. This is a serious business, but I cannot help you now. Our chief warder, you were responsible for overseeing the executioner for, eh? I think it sounds like he's got like a Scottish accent or something, but I'm not good at one. Well, it seems the fellows at Scotland Yard want to have a few wee words with you about it. You'd better pack your things, laddie. You're to attend in person. As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. Ooh. I wonder if this guy was involved in it and he framed Mr. Vigil. And the thing I knew, The professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. Oh, this is him still talking? And let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over. Oh. Ah! My head. His head just explodes. Oh. Alrighty then. Well, thank you for that, Mr. Vigil. Order, bailiff, fetch the doctor at once. Panic in the courtroom. Court is adjourned for today with immediate effect. Okay, that was sudden. Ooh, that wasn't that. Okay.
Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day. Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing
professor.
like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean.
It keeps coming back.
Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil,
Hey, Van Zeeks!
Kazuma, and Gregson.
So, finally somebody has said his name, and I've been pronouncing it wrong the entire time. That's fine. I'm not gonna change it. I'm gonna keep calling him Van Zykes because I'm too far in. I'm too far gone to try and change it now. But that's funny. That's hilarious, actually. So it's Lord Van Zeeks. Thanks for finally saying it. Now that I'm like nearing the end of the series. If only it was said in the first like chapter of the game, or the first time we met him.
All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
Okay. To be continued. I'm sure I'll be going into another investigation. Obviously. What a trial. That escalated real quick. And I felt good about that one. I felt like I was figuring things out. I was on the right track a lot of it, you know. Even that one part that I got wrong, I technically was right, as it turned out. So it's like I felt good about that one. And it was just interesting, you know, how everything unfolded. And again, I love how deep these cases go, how deep they get, you know. It's like they're always like many layers deep. It's never what it appears on the surface, you know. And I feel like again, I said this about the last case, but even more so far. This case feels like it could be like we're heading towards like a finale. Which I guess we technically are, but I mean, like, I feel like this case could be a finale. But again, unless I'm mistaken, we still have one more episode after this one, so we'll have to see where it goes. I'm excited to, investigation part 2. So I'm excited to see the next investigation and learn more about what the heck is going on. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm having a blast with this game. If you did enjoy it, please go ahead and hit the notification bell and the like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course share the video on the channel with your friends, family, and loved ones. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. So take care, and bye-bye.